Is your practice tired of wrestling with insurance denials, deciphering EOBs, and watching your revenue slip through the cracks? You are not alone. Welcome to The Claim Game, the podcast designed to cut through the confusion and provide you with the best practices for revenue cycle management success. We are Jeremy and Catherine Zug, and we've been with people just like you in the trenches. Each week, we'll break down complex billing processes, share real-world solutions from practices like yours, and ask questions of the game makers and changers of healthcare so you can take control of your revenue. Let's turn those claim denials into deposits and help you return to focusing on patient care. It's time to win the claim game.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Claim Game at the Practice Solutions Studio. I'm your host, Jeremy Zug. I'm usually accompanied by the great Catherine Zug, but she's on maternity leave, so you got me this run of episodes. As a reminder, in this season of the Claim Game, we're going through the revenue cycle management best practices, one billing domain at a time. Last time we were here, we talked about measures that you need to master payment posting. So key performance indicators in payment posting. Feel free to go back and listen to that one. And remember, these are key billing domains in your practice. And you can't ignore each of these. Each one is critical for growing and scaling and starting your practice or your clinic. And this season, we're going to be zooming in on each billing domain. We're going to reveal winning strategies to navigate the complex system that billing is with ease and confidence. And ultimately, the goal is that you can have a victorious, profitable, driven private practice, especially for your bottom line. Here's a quick reminder. If you missed the initial setup and you want to get an overview of the full scope of the domains of billing, there are 6 of them and how they work together, make sure you check out episode 1 for the complete overview. Today, we're going to be moving into what is perhaps the single most intimidating billing territory of the entire revenue cycle. And we've talked about getting credentialed, which is its own special kind of torture. You know, it makes people want to pull their hair out. Not me, of course, but other people with hair. And we've talked about getting your patient registered, and we've talked about hitting payment posting, and we've talked about all kinds of billing domains. But what happens when you do all of that work, like eligibility and benefits, and nothing happens? You get silence. No check, no deposit, just a line item on a spreadsheet that gets older and older and older every single day. If claim submission is taking your turn in the game, then today's topic, aging follow-up, is looking at the results and realizing things didn't go exactly to plan. Now, we haven't gotten to claim submission yet, because we believe that you should do payment posting, then aging follow-up next before you do claim submission. And it's here in this moment when you realize that you might have hard-earned revenue just stuck in limbo. And I talk to practice owners all the time, and I know this is the area that causes probably the most anxiety. Aging, it becomes this out of sight, out of mind pile that slowly grows into a mountain. You're focused on seeing patients because that feels good. You know the rules, you know what's expected of you, you're good at it, you help people, and you let a team of people perhaps let it go. Or maybe you're the person in charge of billing, and this has become the I'll do it later pile that turns into I'm never going to get to it pile. And you just keep submitting claims and keep running through your process because that feels productive. And you hope that money comes in. But when it doesn't and it just sits there staring at you, that can feel like you're stuck, like you have very little hope to get through this mess of claims. And I want to tell you something. This is where your biller, it's their time to shine. And it is where your time can get drained out in the billing process, right? Sometimes we can't overstate how easy it is these days to submit a claim, right? It can just be like a boop, you're done, claim submitted. But aging follow-up is the heavy lift, and we're going to introduce you to aging follow-up. And I want to tell you some good news. This is where you actually win. This is where we recover revenue that you have earned. And today, I'm going to demystify the aging report. I'm going to explain exactly what it is and why it scares you, and give you a specific step-by-step overview strategy to work it efficiently so you're not just spinning your wheels and listening to that terrible elevator hold music the rest of your life. So let's start with the basics. What precisely is an aging report? At the simplest level, the aging report is a list of unpaid claims organized by how long they've been outstanding by payer. The aging report is a snapshot of your practice's financial health. And I want to give you a visual to help you engage with this, because spreadsheets and reports can be dry. I want you to think of your aging report like a garden. When you submit a claim, you're planting a seed. And in a perfect world, a fantasy world that none of us live in, that seed gets water and sunlight. The insurance company processes it, and it blooms into a beautiful flower made of money, right? That would be great. But the aging report tells you the truth about your garden. It tells you which plants are growing on their own, which ones are withering, which ones have weeds choking them out. And if you look at that report, and it's usually bucketed into time frames. So at the top of an aging report, you should have time frames. So 0 to 30 days, or 31 to 60 days, or 61 to 90 days, and 90 days plus. Now, why do those specific buckets matter? Why not just look at a list of everything you're owed alphabetically? Here's why, and here's the reality check. Time is your enemy. This isn't wine. This isn't, I know billing is going to make some of you want to get a bottle of wine, and maybe that's okay. This isn't a savings bond. Claims do not get better with age. They rot, they age. Every payer has a deadline called timely filing. And this is the insurance company's favorite rule. They love this rule. They have it framed on a wall in the break room. If a claim sits in a 90-plus day bucket too long, it doesn't just stay unpaid, it dies. So you sometimes with a denial, you have a timely filing limit on how quickly you can process that denial. Or maybe you have a claim aging because you haven't been able to get your notes done, your progress reports, whatever documentation you need to get that claim out the door. Maybe you have a clinician who's struggling to get their notes done. Those claims are just baking, and there's no like medium rare on a claim. The faster, the better. You will lose the right eventually to collect that money entirely. And the insurance company essentially says, hey, thanks for the free therapy. You took too long to ask for the check, so now we're keeping the money. So right now, pull up your electronic health record system and go find where your insurance aging report is. Your EHR better have one. If it doesn't have one readily available right now, you might be in the wrong EHR. But when you look at your buckets, here's how I want you to triage them. 0 to 30 days. That's going to be your first bucket. Those are fresh seeds. They're usually just processing, or they haven't been submitted yet because of a note or documentation. You don't necessarily need to panic yet. For some of those, the check is probably in the mail, or the electronic fund transfer is in the ether somewhere. Those aren't necessarily where you should spend your time. Then you have the 31 to 60 day bucket. There's going to be a yellow flag here. There's some warning signs. Something has stalled, perhaps, right? Rain didn't come. Maybe a payer lost a claim. Maybe the robot ate it. I don't know. It also could not be cause for concern, right? That's why there's a yellow flag. Because let's say that you and your biller are real on top of things, and you get payment in, and let's say you have clients that have secondary insurance and you're on it, right? There could be a secondary claim that takes 31 to 60 days to process, right? So you need to use some discernment in this bucket to tell whether or not you need to worry about it, but it's something to pay attention to. Then you have the 90-day bucket. It's usually 90 to 120 days, and then 120 days plus. 90 days, there's a problem. There is an immediate need for attention before they hit whatever timely filing limit is in your contract. This is a danger zone type situation. And 120 days plus, those are the claims that need attention. This episode is brought to you by Jane, a practice management software and EMR built to support you in the day-to-day work of running your practice. If you're a health or wellness practitioner, you already know the care you provide starts well before your client arrives and extends far beyond the treatment room. Jane is there to support you in every part of that experience. With online booking, your clients can book at a time that works for them. And with features like notifications, they'll even be able to grab last-minute openings when they pop up. It's an easy way to keep your schedule full while getting your clients the care they need. During your appointment, Jane's AI-powered documentation feature can help you thoughtfully take notes so you can stay present with the person in front of you. And after appointments, you can end your time together on a healing note, not a transactional one, by charging the card on file. To learn more about how Jane can support you and your clients, head to jane.app/demo. And one last thing, if you're ready to get started with Jane, you can use my code in the show notes for a 1-month grace period on your new account. Now let's talk about the psychology of the aging report for a second, because I know so many clinicians that see that 90-day bucket growing, and their reaction is, it's interesting. They freeze. They stop opening the report. It's like an ostrich strategy, right? Sometimes providers or practice managers, administrators, they stick their head in the sand and they hope the problem goes away. Or it's like when you have a weird pain in your knee, so you just stop walking on it and hope it kind of heals itself. It never really does. It just gets worse until you fall again and hurt yourself. So why do we do this? Because that report feels like a report card of failure. Every line on there feels like a mistake you made. So you put it in the box of shame and you try to just forget about it. If that's you, if that's how you're feeling and experiencing this particular report, I want you to take a deep breath and very simply to stop doing that. The car has a check engine light on it. And just because you put tape over the check engine light on your dashboard, that doesn't mean the car is going to get better. It means that if you don't fix that thing, your car is going to stop. And the way to get past the freeze is to stop looking at this report as a giant list of personal failure or lack of business acumen, whatever you're telling yourself in your head, and start seeing this report as data, as a process to be managed. It's just like dirty laundry. You don't cry when you see dirty laundry. You put it into a cycle. You get it started. You tackle it one piece of clothing at a time. Now, once you decide to actually tackle this pile, the biggest mistake we see clinicians make involves how they attack it, right? They get over the ostrich thing and they run 100 miles an hour at this, right? They print out the list and they start working on it alphabetically. I'm just going to start with payer A, then B, then C, or they scan the list for big numbers and say, $20,000 here, let's try that one. And working your aging report alphabetically is wildly inefficient. Think about it. The first payer is payer A, for example. You call them, you wait on hold for 15 minutes, you talk to a rep, you hang up. The next one is payer B. You call payer B, you wait on hold for 20 minutes. The next payer is payer C. And if you do this, you're spending 90% of your day listening to bad, smooth jazz and robot voices telling you that your call is very important to us. Spoiler alert, it's not that important. Here is a 3-step sorting process that we'll get to in later episodes this season. But here's a 3-step process we recommend to get this number under control without completely losing your stuff. Step 1. Sort by payer. So sort your aging report by payer. Why? Because when you finally get a representative on the phone, after you navigate the press 1 for claims, press 4 for frustration, you want to resolve as many claims in a single call as you humanly can. I have what you're going to say to the rep. You're going to use these words exactly. While I have you on the line, let's look at Susan and Bob and Larry. Maximizing that phone call is the only way to get through a high volume of claims. Step 2, you're going to sort by age. And we're not talking about age of the client. Within those payer groups, you're going to look at the oldest claims first. Remember timely filing? You have to rescue those claims that are closest to expiring first. Save the ones that are dying the soonest, then worry about the fresh ones later. Step 3, sort by dollar amount. If you have 2 claims that are both 60 days old, prioritize the $200 claim over the $50 claim. It's just better return on investment for your time. Chase the big checks first. All right, you've sorted your aging report. You're organized. You see you have 5 claims with payer C that are 45 days old. Boom, you pick up the phone. You enter your NPI, your tax ID. The robot says, I didn't catch that. You scream your tax ID at the phone and a human answers. What do you say? This is where a lot of providers freeze. This is where a lot of admins freeze and billers freeze. They get polite and they do small talk. How are you doing today? Let me tell you something. That rep does not care how you're doing. They're in a cubicle farm under fluorescent lights, counting the minutes until lunch. They want to get you off the phone. So you have to drive this conversation. You're investigating. You're a detective at a crime scene. And here's the script I want you to use. After you provide the patient and claim info, ask this exact question. What is the status of this claim? Usually you're going to get one of 3 answers. Answer 1, it's on file and processing. Great. Get a reference number and a date when it will pay. Write it down on your claim management spreadsheet. That's answer number 1. Answer number 2, we don't have that claim on file. Now that's really important. This is the worst answer, but also the most important because it means your submission failed. It got lost in wherever it went, and maybe you missed a digit on an ID or there was some issue. Maybe their system glitched. You need to resubmit that claim immediately, likely with proof of timely filing. Or answer number 3 is it was denied. All right, don't lose it yet. Don't argue. Don't start yelling about medical necessity. Just ask why. Get the denial code and the reason. We need the facts before we can fight the war. And here's a pro tip that'll save a lot of your stress. If you ignore everything else I say, listen to this. Get the call reference number. Write it down. Put it in the claim management spreadsheet. If it isn't documented, it didn't happen. The call reference number is your save point in a video game. Because here's the nightmare scenario. You call, Brenda answers. Oh yes, the check is in the mail. It'll be there Tuesday. You hang up, click, you smile. Tuesday comes, no check. You call back. You get Steve. Steve says, we never sent a check. We denied that claim 3 weeks ago. You say, but Brenda said. Steve says, who's Brenda? We don't have record of that call. If you don't have that call reference number, the insurance company, it's going to feel like gaslighting you and you're going to burn out. They'll hit you with a new phone. Who's this? They're going to erase your reality. But if you say, actually, Steve, here's my call reference number, 555ABC from January 12th, Steve goes quiet. He knows you have the receipts for that phone call. Always write down the call reference number, the name of the rep, and the date on your claim management spreadsheet. Now, this sounds like a lot of work. And guess what? It is. Which brings me to the final point. If you take another thing away from this episode to help you master your billing this week, it's going to be this. Consistency beats intensity. I see people treating billing like New Year's resolutions. They ignore it for 6 months. Then one Saturday, they drink a Red Bull and they say, I'm going to fix everything today. Do not try to be a hero. You cannot clean up a year's worth of billing in one marathon session, I promise. You're going to be miserable. You're going to hate your practice. And you might quit after 2 hours because your brain just can't handle the mess that it's looking at. Block out an hour of your calendar every single week. And it may take more than an hour. It might take 3, 4, 5, 6 hours. On average, we tend to save providers 8 to 10 hours a week or more because of this exact process. But if you're doing it, block it out. Treat it like a client appointment that you can't cancel. Just do the laundry. If you do the laundry every week, it takes an hour. If you do the laundry once a year, it's going to take forever. That consistency is no way to live. The more consistent you are, you can keep your cash flow healthy. So here's your action item for the week. Go run your aging report. Don't judge it. Don't panic. Don't put it in the box of shame. Just run it. Sort it by payer, then age, and pick one payer to call this week. Just one. Start with the oldest stuff. Start clearing out the weeds of your garden and watch how much better you feel about your billing and your practice. If you need help with this, or if you're looking at your report thinking, I need backup, we have some incredible tools available through our online learning hub, the Hourglass. We have a denial resolution guide, we have a claim management spreadsheet ready to go, and a full appeals packet. If you think those would be helpful for your practice, check out the link in the show notes to the Hourglass. The next time on the Claim Game, we're going to be discussing denial resolution, and you won't want to miss it. We'll have a special guest here. I'm Jeremy Zug. Thanks for listening. Can't wait to see you next time on the Claim Game.
If you enjoyed today's episode of The Claim Game, please take a moment to leave us a rating and review wherever you listen to your podcasts. It really helps new listeners to find us. Make sure you never miss an episode by subscribing to The Claim Game on your favorite podcast app. Your feedback means so much to us. We want to provide valuable education about revenue cycle management. So if there's something we didn't cover in our topic that was a burning question for you, please let us know so we can try to get you the information you desire. You can find the links to all resources we mentioned in this episode in the show notes. And if you want to dive deeper into our resources, we have two places you can do that. First, you can go to our blog at practicesol.com/blog, where we have 8 years of educational blogs. If you want to learn more about what Practice Solutions does, reach out. We'd love to hear from you. Just go to practicesol.com to learn more and to connect with one of our awesome people on our team. Thanks for listening. We are Jeremy and Catherine Zug, and this is The Claim Game. See you at the game table next time.